wave 3. Obviously, it's a projection of wave 1. Maybe anywhere between 161.8% and over 1,000%. I would only expect 1,000% in something like an equity market. I've seen it in the Dow. Normally, I find that in general the maximums tend to be 361% or 461.8%, occasionally higher. The majority of wave 3s will develop in two cluster areas, 176.4% to 198.4% and 261.8% to 298.4%. The 161.8% rarely ever happens. When it does, I normally get caught out because I'm not expecting it. The wave 3 will always develop in three waves, ABC. At the outset, a 5-wave move should be identified and looked for within wave A of wave 3. Lower degrees implies an eventual 176.4 to 198.4% target. Higher degree targets imply a more powerful extension. So be aware, if you can, of where that wave 3 should be targeting. Wave 3 must be a projection of wave 1. Wave C of wave 3 must identify a common target of wave 3. Wave 5 of wave C must identify a common target in wave 3 and therefore in the wave C being the projection of wave A. So here is a decline in euro. We've seen an ABC, wave 1, wave 2, ABC, wave 3, wave 4, ABC, with a nice bullish divergence at the end. The wave C was 238.2%, after wave B had been 66.7%, a mere 23% in wave 2, 58% in wave B, 114% in wave C, and only 161.8% in wave 3. Now I never like that, but this one down here was just a bit too far, and I couldn't work that into a 5-wave move to get here. So therefore this still looked like an ABC. But let's look in this area just to check that this is correct. Here it is. 1, 2, ABC, 3, 4, 5. Correlation of wave 5 and wave C and wave 3 targets. 66% retracement in wave 2, 14% retracement in wave B, 120% in wave C, but 361% in wave 3 was good, and 41% correction in wave 4 correlated and alternated with wave 2, actually got above 100%, and then A, B, C to 176% in wave C, 66.7% in wave 5. We also had a 76% retracement in wave B. So that worked out pretty well. They're good relationships. While I showed you the larger time frame, always check the movement down in the lower time frame. Next, we have to have an awareness of an appropriate target in wave 3. Will always be located within a wave A or a wave C. There is nowhere else a wave 3 will be. Within wave A, it may be more difficult to identify in advance, given that targets for wave A are often less obvious or have several possibilities depending on where it belongs in a larger wave degree. If you're expecting that wave A to, for instance, stall at a prior wave B in a correction, you might be able to have an idea on where the wave 3 will stall. Otherwise, it can be difficult. In the wave C, a wave 3 within a wave C, one, it will always be a projection of wave A, and therefore we will have an idea that if this is in a simple ABC move, we have to have a projection in wave C to have an idea on where the projection of the wave 3 of wave C is going to be. If it's the wave C of wave 3, we'll have to have an idea of where the wave C is going to be, and therefore wave 3, to know where the wave 3 of wave C is going to be. If it's in wave C of wave 5, then we have to know where the wave 5 is going to be to see where the wave 3 of wave C of wave 5, where that's going to be. So let's have a look. We've had an A, B, now we're looking at a C. Obviously the wave C has got to get below this wave A. So, well, it's possible that the wave A might well be a target for the wave 3. It's possible. I don't always use that as a possible target, but I do note it if there is a wave 3 projection at that wave A level. What will be important is, where does this ABC lie within the larger wave structure? Are we looking at a correction, or are we looking at a larger wave 3 target? And where do we expect that wave 3 target to be? In this instance, we had ABC wave 1, 2, ABC wave 3. As I said, we'll just recap over the target for wave 1. It stalled at a pivot support area. We had a wave 2. Also look here that within this wave 3 of wave C, we had it stalled just above there. So if we're thinking that maybe the wave 1 will stall around here, we know the wave 3 is going to stall just above it. There it is, wave 3, wave 4, wave 5. Okay. Then we had a wave A that came down to a previous swing low. We had a correction in wave B. So then we can form ideas of where the projections in wave 3 are going to be. Only look at major swing lows. But this was somewhere to say, well, look, there's a good chance we might see a pullback from there. And that did stall the wave A. Then within that wave A, we must be looking for a wave 3 just above to see whether that suits that target. The prior low is a potential wave 3 target. Make sure that the projections in wave 3 and in wave C do match this area. Sometimes they don't, sometimes they go on a bit further. In fact, there was a 90% projection in wave C and a 323% projection in wave 3. So then we're looking for a wave 4 that should not be too deep, and a wave 5 lower. Right, this was the 2009 low in the Dow Jones, and I showed you this wave 1, 2. So we had a wave A and wave B. We've had wave 1 and wave 2. Now we have to have an idea on wave A is going to stall. I reckon, being a strong move going higher, that it's not going to be at the prior wave 1, but probably closer to that wave A high. And the wave 3, that will be derived from where we expect this larger wave 3 to be. We appear to have two choices for wave A of wave 3, at the wave 1, or perhaps as high as the wave A. Considering wave 3 will likely need to reach the 176 to 194.4% projection around here, 12,335 to 12,765, could get to 198.4%, then the wave A high is more likely 4, wave A of wave 3. Therefore, the wave 3 of wave A has a high chance of reaching the wave 1 high or just above. So let's see what happened. This is where it started. We had a wave 1, 2, A, which was the prior wave B, 3, which was around 10,800, wave 4, and wave 5, which was very close to that previous wave A high. Here are the ratios: nearly 98.4% in wave 2, 23% in wave B. Wave 1, the prior wave 1 was at 10,719.94, so this came to just above there, to just over 10,800. So we were right that it would stall around about that previous wave 1. Had a wave 4, and here we're going to measure it. We can see that the high was 398.4%. We would expect only a 14.6% to 23.6% correction in wave 4, nearly got to 23%. Then we can start looking at where the wave 5 should be, and there it got to 11,155.23. There was the wave 3, wave that came within the right sort of areas. And now we're looking at wave 4, just above the prior wave 4 here as well, which is always nice. And now we need to judge where the wave 5 is going to be. The wave A high of the larger wave structure was at 11,258. So we'd expect it to approach there, and we'd look for a wave 5 target that would confirm that. And it was actually 11,155, which was almost a 58.6% projection in wave 5. And out of interest, the wave 5 of wave C was 76.4%, so also confirming that area. Right, summary points in wave 3. They rarely extend, sorry about the S, they rarely extend less than 176.4%. The majority will develop between 176.4% and 198.4%, and between 261% and 298.4%. In stronger moves, you can get 323.6%, 361.8%, occasionally the 385 to 398.4%, occasionally 423.6% and 461.8%. Note that the wave 3 completion should also be a projection in wave C. Within wave C, the wave 5 will also target the same area as wave 3 and wave C. Where possible, an estimated target for wave 3 can be made by judging whether, after a wave 4 retracement, the projection in wave 5 will reach an appropriate area implied by the larger wave degree. For example, a smaller wave 3 of wave C of larger wave 3, or a smaller wave 3 of wave A of a wave 5. Next, wave 4s can be anywhere between 5.6% and 66.7%. The vast majority will develop between 23.6% and 58.6%, but also note the sum of the wave 2 and wave 4 percentage retracements that tend to fall between 80% and 120%. In a strong trending move, this will tend to be between 80% and 100%. In corrective moves, they will tend more to be 100% and up to 120%. Sometimes you can accept them just under 75 to 80% in a strong move, and sometimes just above. If the wave 2 is above 90%, give more leeway to a sum above 120%. Wave 4s will never breach and normally never get close to the wave B of wave 3. It will normally reflect alternation with wave 2 and possibly wave B of wave 3. Alternation, consider both depth and complexity. Deep and shallow, simple and complex. The example in this decline in euro, where we had that unusual 161.8% projection, the wave 4 here. If you remember, we had 23% in wave 2, so really we'd want above 50%. Does that occur? Since wave 2 is 23.6%, we can expect wave 4 to be deep, at least 58.6%. But do note, since the wave B of wave 3 was 58.6%, there may be risk of wave 4 being shallower. But if so, we'd expect to see a deep wave B of wave 5. Indeed it was, so the total really was only around 60%. That really required a deep wave B, which did indeed occur. Another wave 4 within this decline in wave C. 66.7% in wave 2, a shallow wave B, 120% in C, 361% in wave 3, 41% in wave 4. So that came to just over 100%. This would have been in a trending move. So it's not common to go above 100%, the sum of wave 2 and wave 4, but there's no rule saying it shouldn't. And there's no rule saying that the wave B still can't retrace 76.4%. And the rest of the ratios were still pretty good. %108% to the sum of the wave 2 and wave 4. In this rally in the dollar index that I was showing you, we've got a wave 4 here that was very shallow, and a wave 4 here that was extremely brief and quite shallow, and another wave 4 here that was just still that shallow compared to this wave 2. So we've got ourselves looking at this wave 4, so we had a 76% wave 2, 14% wave 4, a sum that comes to 91%. This wave 4, this wave 2, 61.8% here, 33.3% in that wave 4, 95.1%. Finally, this wave 4 relates to this wave 2, 94.4%, 23.6%, total of 118%. Because this was very deep, we'd be prepared for a slightly deeper move or a slightly deeper sum above 100%. Alternation. This was a wave 4, so we're looking at a wave higher. What we had here was a deep sharp wave 2, 73%, and a more complex, it wasn't a complex correction, but along what looked to be ABC, but still shallow. In this decline in the euro, wave 1, 2, A, B, 1, 2, 94%, 3, 4, 23%, wave 5. So do be aware of these very small wave 4s, as long as it fits into what you're expecting. You do have to be careful with them, but they can work. So the wave 3 came in at 176.4%, and the wave C 166.7%, and the wave 5 at 85.4%. So actually all those ratios are very, very good. So then we'd expect to see a wave 5 that came quite strongly lower, wave A, wave B, wave C, 90% in wave C, 85.4% in wave 5, which was actually an 82% projection in the wave C. It's quite unusual to get 82%. Well, it's not that unusual. I do notice 80% from time to time. I don't like looking for them. They're not what I look for straight from the start, but do consider them as a possibility. Here, a sum of 118% of wave 2 and wave 4. Within this wave 2 and this wave 4, another sum of 118%. Another example, a rally in the 5-minute market in dollar Swiss, 1-2, 73%, 1-2, 52%, 3, which is 176%, 41% correction, so that's just over 90%. That was actually a very large wave 5 at 114%. Not sure I really like that, but it's the only way I could call it. A, B, 67%, 1, 2, 58, 3, 4, 23, so just above 80%. Then a 3, 4, 14% and 73%, so above 80%. So all of these worked in. I would have had trouble in considering these because of the move up in 114% in wave 5 is very, very unusual, extremely unusual. But, and I suspect that I would have had to have been forced to use that through a retrospective count by seeing this come down and seeing these ratios and going, then it must have been like that. So this would have been an occasion where I know I would have been caught out, because I just do not look for that type of projection in wave 5. The sums 93.4%, 82% and just under 90%. So summary points of wave 4. Normal retracements are between 14.6 and 58.6%. Keep in mind alternation in terms of time and depth. Possible impact of a deep wave B of wave 3. Keep in mind the proximity of the wave B of wave 3. Keep in mind the sum of the wave 2 and wave 4, what you expect. Keep in mind the pivot supports and pivot resistances. If you're expecting a shallow wave 4, then observe the wave B of wave 5, of wave C of wave 3, and whether that could be deep. If in an ABC, then the projection wave C is to match the anticipated retracement ratio of the correction, but also consider pivot support and resistances and so on. Wave 5. Obviously these are the projections of the preceding waves 1 through 3. The measurement is from the start of wave 1 to the end of wave 3 and projected from the extreme of wave 4. The vast majority will be between 61.8% and 76.4%, longer between 85.4 to 94.4, and you may be forced to accept something as long as we've just seen 114%, but it's very rare. Shorter ratios tend to be 50 to 58.6% and occasionally 30 to 38.2%. Wave 5s will always develop in 3 waves. The projection in wave C should match the target in wave 5. the wave 5 of wave C must identify a common target in the wave 5. So here we had a rally in sterling, ABC, wave 1, 2, ABC, wave 3, wave 4, wave A, wave B, wave C. The wave 5 was 80% in this case. The wave 5 here was 81%. We would have been looking at all the relevant ratios in wave 5 as well. And we'd be looking for this to be a suitable area, maybe a pivot resistance within the weekly structure, say. That wave 5 was 82%. It's interesting, 80%, 81, 82%. Wave C was 138.2%. So all nice ratios. Here we have the rally in the S&P, 1, 2, AB, a very short B, wave 3, 4, and then went up to the wave 5. Yes, that was a valid wave B, and it is one reason why you just do not eyeball the chart. If I hear anybody eyeballing a chart when they talk to me, I shall have to tell you off. Never do it. And this was a reason. I had actually measured this move and come to the conclusion that was the end of wave 5. Expected to see a deeper wave B, but when it went up here and started to come down so deeply, I was beginning to go, crikey, have I got this wrong? And I was trying to work out any other type of projections and how to work it out, but couldn't. But in the end, this wave 2 finished just above the wave B. It enabled me to call that wave 3. In fact, I think on this day here, around about here, it enabled me to call that wave 3, that wave 4, that wave 5, i.e. the 3 and the 4. All on that day, I predicted that, and that target. Let's look at the numbers. The 5 here is 66.7%. The wave 5 here was 58.6%. Also note wave C and wave 3 targets, which are also important. In the Shanghai Composite Index, we've had a 1, expanded flat wave 2, I'm sorry, that should be a 2. A, B, C, and then A, B, C in 5. The wave 5 was 66.7%. In the Euro, 1, 2, shallow, deep wave B, so wave 4 was shallow, A, B, C in wave 5. 38% in wave 2, 67% in wave B, 133 in wave C, 176 in wave 4, 23 in wave 4, so the sum is 60%. So what do we get in wave B? Almost 76.4%. And the wave C was just short of 161.8%, wave 5 was 66.7%. In this decline in the euro, let's have a look at these again. I'd shown you this before. So we come down, this was the one where we had 161.8%. We had a shallow sum of wave 2 and wave 4. As I mentioned this before in the previous example, so therefore we should expect a deep wave B of wave 4. We had a deep wave B, 81%, 133% in wave C, and 61% in wave 5. So summary points in wave 5 may be anywhere between 38.2% and 105% or even 114% as we saw. Majority will be between 61.8% and 76.4%. Longer between 85.4 to 94.4, shorter between 38% and 58.6%. Although I put 50% there, occasionally you get 38.2%. They will always develop in three waves, an ABC. At the outset, a 5-wave move should be identified in wave A. The wave C of wave 5 must identify a common target in wave 5. And the internal wave 5 of wave C must identify the same common target in wave 5 and wave C. If the larger wave 5 is in a wave C of a higher degree, then the target must match the projection of the wave A of higher degree. Wave A's are the initial unknown. We went through this earlier on. Wave A has no relationship to a prior wave. The most likely stalling points are, as with the wave 1, prior wave B of wave 5, the extreme of wave 4, pivot support or resistance, prior congestion area, Fibonacci or harmonic retracement ratios. Here we have an example with wave 3, wave 4, A, B. So we had a very strange wave 1, 2, A, B, C, 3, 4, A, B, C, 5. The first correction comes back to this pivot area. I marked it a little bit too high, but this pivot area here. Okay, so always look at that sort of thing that can happen. Within this, A, B, C, wave 3, first move down, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, comes to the span of the previous retracement area. It also happened to be a 2/3 retracement of this wave 5 and was within the span of the wave B. This goes up and hits this pivot area and starts to come down. A wave A in wave 3. We'd seen the end of a corrective move, a 1, 2, A, B, C, 3. And this A stalls at the prior swing high. So consider that. This wave A of wave 1 didn't really get anywhere. It's not very strong, maybe that correction area. But that wave A there, that's quite common. If that is the last real swing high, then that will normally provide some sort of correction at least. Across the wave structure in the wave A's, this wave A came up to the previous resistance. This wave A came back to that prior corrective high in the decline. This wave A came up to the peak of the wave 1. This wave A came back to that wave B span. So there's quite a few clues that you can have to look for where the wave A's are going to be. The summary points can be the unknown and more difficult wave ending to identify, so consider pivot support and resistance on first reversal. Consider localized Fibonacci retracements. In wave 3, consider the prior swing highs or lows or Fibonacci retracements. In wave 5, it can be somewhere around the prior wave 3 extreme. However, most important, look for a 5-wave move. Triple threes, well, they can be very difficult to identify, so you have to take that very carefully. Now wave B, the final one, is a bad boy of the pack. It's the most frustrating of all because it can do so many things. It is the correction of the correction in many cases. It can occur within a wave 1, wave 5, as a zigzag or a combination, double zigzag, triple three. It can be anywhere between 5.6% and 100%. Also be aware of pivot support or resistance that might help. Within wave 3, generally 14.6% to 58.6%, and a deep wave B can get up as high as 85.4 to 94.4%. I've seen it that high in dollar sterling before. Generally 85.4%, 90% will hold it. They can develop as any corrective structure: zigzag, double zigzag, triple three, or any complex correction: flat, expanded flat, or triangle. Wave Bs are guaranteed to make your hair go grey and for you to go bald. Wave Bs should come with a government health warning. They're painful. Wave X is a correction's correction, and you can really consider what I've just said about the wave B in many respects. It will be the correction within a double zigzag or triple three, so you must be expecting that. Most do not retrace beyond the prior wave B, but there are exceptions. You need to consider Fibonacci and harmonic retracements with the prior wave B in mind. That is, the retracement will be of the last ABC move, not of the wave C, but the retracement in wave X will be of the prior ABC move. You must also consider on where the wave B will be. So if you had a very deep wave B, it is quite possible to have a very deep wave X. Otherwise, if you've had a shallow wave B, it's very unlikely to get a deep wave X. It can also develop as a complex correction, so a flat, expanded flat, or triangle. Do look at pivot support and resistances as well. That may help you identify where it's going to stall. So that's the end of wave characteristics. It gives you a broad idea of using a lot of other techniques within technical analysis, including momentum, including natural price supports and resistance through support and resistance, retracement levels, congestion areas, you name it, they're there. It gives you ideas on how to anticipate where your wave 3s are going to be. There's a lot of little tips in there, so I suggest you have another look through this video because it contains a lot of very useful information. After this, I'm going to move forward to navigation and general techniques in identifying wave structure.